Okay, so guys, I want to welcome you to the first of a series of webinars, and I've been toiling with this idea for some time now because there's so many practical tips, and I did write the book, which is a summary thereof, but every day I'm learning new stuff, and it's impossible to put all of that in a book. The book will be so big, nobody would want to read it. And that's why I've decided to start putting everything that I'm learning in the process into webinars. And you can see we're going to have some very nice ones to come. How to reduce your EMF while you're sleeping is probably one of the most important ones. I've played around with everything. So I will talk about the EMF shielded canopy. And when I do that, I will reference some other things as well. So yeah, so this is the first of a series that will probably continue because I'm already thinking about the next topics that I'd like to introduce. So very welcome. Today we're talking about cell phone settings and how you can immediately reduce your exposure with just simply changing your cell phone settings. Now I just want to first, and I'll send you this document, I just want to first make you guys aware of something which is called SAR. So you would hear that phones have a SAR rating. Okay. So I want to, before I do this, I want to just quickly play a little video. Please tell me if you can't hear the voice coming through. It should start in a second. Quick illustration in cell phone settings. Now at the moment, you can see my cell phone is on, but none of my wireless settings are on. I'm going to switch just mobile data on so that you can get an appreciation of what's happening.
Are we supposed to be hearing something, Davida?
Okay. Yeah, so I was asking if you were supposed to. I'm not sure why it's not coming through. So I'm going to I will send you guys this. Okay. What I'm showing here, and I'll just talk you through it. Here in the beginning, you can see nothing was activated on my phone when I went to my settings. You can see it. I didn't put flight mode on, but mobile data was off, Wi-Fi was off, Bluetooth was off. Okay. And you can see just by the color coding on the electrosmog meter, and here I'm measuring radio frequency, so that's the wireless signals. You can see it's very low. All right, so now I'm just using the phone. But as I now add mobile data, you can see it jump all the way to the red. And now if I go through, I actually add Bluetooth and Wi-Fi as well. You'll see, and look at that. All these, the radio frequency just escalates so much. It just goes right up. Now the interesting thing, if I could maybe just park here for a second, I do not have any Wi-Fi on here. So even when I switched Wi-Fi on my cell phone, it spiked, okay, and there's not even a Wi-Fi to talk to. Now, if there would have been a Wi-Fi, this reading would have been even much higher. And now you can see I'm gonna go back at the back end. You can see everything is on now, and the ratings just stay high. But what you'll also see is they go up and down, up and down, up and down. It's not like they are stable, and that is the bit that causes oxidative stress, is the variability in the radio frequency. Our bodies just can't cope with that variation. And as I now go on, towards the end of this video, I went back and I switched everything off. Okay, yeah, I'm switching everything off. It normally takes a few seconds to settle, and there you can see it drops right down. Okay, so I just want to illustrate through this video, guys, I'm not talking nonsense. If you activate your mobile data, your Bluetooth, your wireless, your radiation exposure goes right up. Now you sit with a phone with a high SAR rating, and that absorption rate means that radio frequency gets absorbed in your body. So we need to take this stuff seriously. So my key message with this little short video is the best place you can be in is to, if you carry your phone on you all the time, deactivate mobile data, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Don't use it on your phone unless you actually need it. But now that said, I wish it was that simple. And this is where we're going to go to the next step. Can I just park there if there's any questions there? Find people you can share with. There's another sharing, so you need to go and look at your sharing settings. This is not necessarily like find your phone, but this is when you want to share anything with anybody else. You know, these days you just hold the two phones next to each other and boom, things magically moves from one phone to another. You actually want that off because it tries to communicate to the person next to you. And then the second one is this: allow the phone to be found. Now, what is interesting, these settings are in different places. They're not in one place. So I think this for me is probably one of the biggest issues, and that's why it's like my second webinar. The first one was on settings for your phone. I wanted to do the settings on the phone first because we carry our phones on our bodies the whole day, and unless we are aware of how the settings can impact our health, it's very important to understand you can actually change the settings and reduce your EMF exposure. But second to that, for me, that's really important, is when you sleep, your body heals. We know that. The other side of the house where you don't spend a lot of time. So you actually don't want to ever be close to it, especially if you have electric hypersensitivity. Now, chargers, guys, next to your bed, you should not have any electronics. And chargers especially because they've got transformers, which means they've got electric and magnetic fields. So if you have a cell phone charger, wherever it is in the house, but especially next to your bed, plugged in all the time, and the plug is on, it always has an electric and a magnetic field running. And even when you switch the plug off, let's say you've got a multi-plug with those separate switches and you switch the plug off, there's still an electric field because that's potential, where your magnetic fields are actually is the actual current. So chargers, wherever you put them, when you use them, and when you're done with them, unplug them and put them away. All right, Bluetooth speakers and radios is another thing. If you have those in your bedroom, remember they are also battery powered. So even though they work on a charger, which again they have similar to your cell phone charger, they have a charger. So you might have it plugged in, but even if it's not plugged in, it's got a battery, which means it's always on standby. So please take these out of the bedroom. Now let's look at alarm clocks next to your bed. This is now I'm going to show you an actual record. I did an EMF assessment at a house where the lady was complaining her husband couldn't sleep. Okay, so he couldn't sleep, so she couldn't sleep. Now next to the bed was this little alarm clock, and the funny thing is, it wasn't even set. It was just flashing, flashing, flashing. So it was there, but they didn't use it, but it was plugged in. All right, now let's see what happens here. Now here I was measuring magnetic fields, okay? So that is current. And you can see it's just crazy because it's next to the bed and now I'm measuring it on the bed. And you can see those spikes up and down. OL means it's over the limit, all right? Now it drops again, then it spikes again. All right, so OL, whenever you've got an electrosmogmeter, means over the limit. So here you can see this simple alarm clock next to the bed actually caused her husband to be awake and he couldn't sleep. And people just don't realize these things. Now, your laptop, please don't keep your laptop in the bedroom. Here I've just shown, and it's another quick video I did, just on a laptop transformer to show you what sort of magnetic and electric fields we get as a result of a transformer next to your bed. Now, typically, many of us sleep with our laptops next to the bed. We plug it in behind the bed, okay, and I'll come to that in a second. Now, just look what happens here. Again, it says over the limit. All right, and here we're looking at magnetic field, so it's current. That means this transformer is plugged in. So you can just imagine if you have to put this transformer on your desk or close to your bed where you sleep, it's just going to mess with your sleeping habits. Yeah. What I've learned when I started doing research on this, it's not an easy topic because I went as far as buying one and then I tested it left, right, and center. And today with measurements, I'm going to show you like I normally do with my webinars. so that you can see the actual results and that I'm not just talking nonsense, that I've really done my homework. Mesh or a solid steel structure. Now, this is typically what a EMF canopy looks like. Here you can see the canopy was just draped on the floor. I don't see any grounding cable here, so it doesn't look like it's grounded. This is fabric lined with silver. The first challenge we have is that if you want to make this a Faraday cage, having it lie around the bed like this doesn't work, because this is not a Faraday cage. And I'm measuring from the top, but here I'm measuring low frequency magnetic fields, which is the current. And you can see the current is very high, so it does not block the current. And when I look at electric fields, this photo is maybe not so clear, but there the volts per meter is 29 side. Now, again, here I'm inside my canopy. My cell phone is outside on the windowsill. So you can't see it very clearly here because this fabric is not so see-through. But the windowsill is right behind the canopy, and that's my phone lying there. And this is the interesting thing. So the canopy is closed, it is earthed, and you can still see there's radio frequency coming in. And the theory behind that is the slightest opening. Guys, and I've tested this a million times. If you, for instance, kick the fabric and it lifts up a little bit, or where it's supposed to cross over each other, it's sort of just, you maybe just touch it with your foot and it opens up.
Others similar to it, and they are produced by enormous thunderstorms very high up in the atmosphere, and they will produce these type of electromagnetic resonances, and they have always been there before man even saw the daylight for the first time. What we did, and as you said, we are interested in investigating honeybees, because there is such a dramatic loss worldwide of honeybees, other pollinators, other insects, etc. And to make a long story short, when we shielded the beehive with a Faraday cage, which practically would remove the electric field component, but not the magnetic field, the honeybees were severely affected by this. The removal of the natural background field made, for instance, the queen to stop laying fertilized eggs. And then after a while, you got the complete collapse of the honeybee society in the beehive. So they need the natural fields. In other studies, other scientists, as well as ourselves are Daniel Favre and myself, have shown that artificial fields, like from cell phone radiation, these insects don't like. Then suddenly they will try to avoid the source, like the cell phone, and fly off and not return to the beehive. And I don't know if you can see, I will try to put my fingers close to the camera. You see that I have about 1 inch between my pointing finger and the thumb, and that's the wavelength of the 5th generation 5G mobile telephony, and it's also the size of a honeybee, a bumblebee, a wasp, or whatever, all the insects that are lacking. And that means that insects in this size range, they will be body resonant to the artificial fields, meaning that they will get a lot of the energy from these fields. And when it comes to radio frequent field for mobile telephony, as you know, then the increases compared to background, natural background, are just colossal.
Prof, in line of what you said now, I just want to tell the guys what happened. So when I got my canopy, the first 2-3 nights I slept like a baby.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I was in a very high EMF environment.
We normally switch the distribution box off, so the magnetic and electric was off. I was blocked from radio frequency, slept really well. The fourth day,